we know that, I mean, what we're saying is that we do know that those figures have been contested. And you know that when credibility issues come up with figures, then it begins to create some problems and controversy. If we have gotten our National Bureau of Statistics right, which you say was one of the impediments for not rebasing when we ought to have it rebased, do you also think that we'll be working with the National Population Commission as well, so as to be able to get that part of it right, so that at least it's not contested?
Well, I can assure you that this administration is a very transparency-oriented administration. So we are putting everything on the table. I am sure that when this president takes on the next census, Nigerians will know this is exactly what we are. So I have no worries about that at all.
Do you also, sorry, just a moment, do you also, because some people have also said that this GDP figures did not take into cognizance the rate of unemployment. Was it supposed to have taken into cognizance that as well?
Well, the whole idea of the GDP is to measure the size of our economy in terms of the value of our finished products at current market price. Now, the other thing that the rebasing has done is to tell us the structure of the economy. You know, for a long time we've been talking about total dependency on oil, agriculture, people brandish figures, but we now know that services sector alone accounts for about 51% of our economy, not 26%. So we now know that agriculture is contributing 22% and not 33%. So we now, so these are fundamentals that we now know. We now know that telecom is contributing up to, I think, 8.9%. We now know for the first time from 0.00% base, we now know that Nollywood is contributing about 1.8%. So we now know what is happening. So when we apply policies, we know the impact that we are likely to get. So on the issue of unemployment, I am also pleased to say that over the last couple of years, the National Bureau of Statistics has been able to produce methodology that enables us to calculate accurately job creation and unemployment figures. So I'm able to tell you here, for example, that last year we created 1.6 million jobs. But 1.6 million jobs does not solve our problem, because the new entrance into the employment market is about 1.8 million people. So from base, as you produce 1.6 million jobs, you have 1.8 million unemployed people joining the market. So you now have a deficit of about 200,000 people all the time. Now, in addition to that, we now know that we have a residual number of about 5.3 million people unemployed. So this is the reason why this administration is now taking it as a deliberate policy to think out of the box in terms of what do we need to do to create more jobs. So we know the challenges. So it's a major thing for us as a country that we know the challenges for a start. Figures like this we couldn't give you before now. Everybody will talk about unemployment data depending on where they're coming from. But today, we have a data set that we can talk about. We're not comfortable with the numbers. So the administration is doing everything possible. You will notice that some of the initiatives we have, like You Win, these are initiatives that are designed to do the unusual, give people who have the capacity and the knowledge to create jobs support to create those jobs. We are creating the enabling environment for people to create jobs. If you look at the budget that was just passed yesterday, you will notice that works has the largest chunk, about 104 billion naira in terms of budget provision, because it is the works, housing, that creates jobs. So government is actually targeting that as a major policy push, and we are doing that. And of course, for the first time also, the government is providing Nigerian Mortgage Refinance Company that will support the primary mortgage institutions to give loans, mortgage at a sub 10% rate. And this is being supported by World Bank to the tune of about $200 million as initial takeoff grant. So we are doing everything possible to attack this scourge of unemployment.
Since this changed the structure of our economy, with the service sector now shooting up to 52%, was the government surprised at that of agriculture, which is now about 22%? But I know maybe manufacturing, not too much surprised that that's 6.83%. Were they surprised about what they saw with agriculture in spite of the drive they've seen?
Well, you see, not surprised, but we are now more comfortable with the data. You see, when you are having, or the former base year we were using, that's the base year, that's the base year. So you work on what you have. But when you recalculate and recalibrate, you get a new set of data. You work on the new set of data. But the important thing is having that clarity as to the structure of the Nigerian economy.
Do we expect anything different this year? Because, yes, much as the budget has just been passed, we're approaching election year. And if I remember, I heard the Minister of Trade some time ago say, look, when you approach that kind of year, something's just slowed down naturally because of all those kind of activities. Is it going to be any difference this year?
Now, the Mr. President has resisted the issue of declaring or saying whether he's going to contest or not contest, and overheating the polity, all because he wants to focus on the job that he was elected to do. And every person in government is encouraged to remain focused. And you will recall also that he has said that he will work and work until the elections. So we don't expect any slowdown. We expect that everything will continue to go.
I'm trying to look at some of this analysis here and seeing how the figures have actually improved. Looking at our oil industry, the GDP is now put at just 14%, but you can imagine the movie industry is almost at 9%.
Movie?
Yeah, that's it. The movie industry is almost 9%. I mean, sorry, the telecoms industry, I beg to say, is now almost 9% of GDP.
Yes.
So that's a sector that has actually leapfrogged from the early 90s to this huge, development we can actually see from our GDP.
Yes.
It then means that we can actually diversify. When we talk about diversification, instead of looking at a mono economy for the nation. How well can we actually help other sectors?
Well, first of all, what is true is that Nigeria's economy is a lot more diversified than we knew before. I gave a figure.
That's what this has revealed.
That's what it has revealed. It shows that we are not paying serious attention to the diversification that was going on. And if you look at the movie industry, everybody thought, oh, Nollywood was doing well. I mean, it was generally acknowledged as a sector that we have done well in. But we didn't know their contribution to the GDP. Now we know it's 1.8. You look at telecom. Everybody knew the telecom sector was growing. But we didn't know their impact on the economy. Because it is not about selling of SIM cards and GSM. It's the multiplier effect. The services sector is all expanding. And that is really the good thing about this rebasing exercise. And I hope we'll continue to do it every 5 years as is the international norm.